Hello everyone, welcome to the Archipelago live stream. I'm Liam, part of the team here at Archipelago, makers of Lightroom presets and creative profiles. So very excited for this live stream. We're going to be taking a look at an upcoming release as part of our Quest preset subscription. And this one is going to be Quest Tools 08 ExF Light Leaks. Very, very excited to showcase this set to you today. So this is inspired by film photography and light leaks that you might expect to see within film photography. This set brings 18 of those effects across to digital photography right here in Lightroom without the need to use anything like Photoshop for overlay and all that kind of stuff. So we get that really nice playfulness and liveliness of light leaks that you might experience on film photography. We bring that across to digital, so we have all of the convenience, the ability to move them around, set the intensity, change things like the colors and other attributes as well. So this set will be landing on our Quest preset subscription on the 1st of February, which is just a couple of days away now. But I'll be showcasing the set, kind of walking you through what's included, showing you how to get the most out of them, how to use the masking panel with these effects and all the rest of it. So if you are tuning in live, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join me. It's great to have you here. I know there's a few people on here already. Mary's on as usual. Gary was on nice and early. Alexandra said, finally, I can watch live. Welcome, Alexandra. Thank you so much for joining. And as a thank you for those that are tuned in live, we are, of course, doing a giveaway. So if you are tuned in, you're in with a chance of winning a pre-release copy of these presets. We'll be announcing a winner at the end of the stream. All you need to do is just be tuned in live, chat in the live chat there all the way through the stream. And at the end, we'll choose someone from that chat to win pre-release copies of this preset collection. So this set is part of the X-Film family of presets. X-Film is an Archipelago preset that's been around for a few years now. It gives a really nice expired filmic look, and we have a couple of other presets now within that family. So we've got the X-Film Special Edition set that's on Quest, and now this set, which is Quest Tools 8 ExF Light Leaks. It kind of has that same nostalgic feel, that same filmic feel. It's just bringing these light leak effects that you can apply to your digital images in Lightroom. So I'll dive in and start editing in just a moment, showcasing the set, all that good stuff. But let's just have a look at the chat and see what we're saying. Hi from Sweden, that's awesome. Thanks for tuning in. Northern Michigan, that's Mary. Super excited for this tutorial. That's from Bethany, thank you. Hello, very excited. Hi from Scotland, that's Gary. Happy to finally be here again. I couldn't watch any live stream for long. Excited to be here learning something new as always. That's Una, thank you, Una. X-Film is my fave. That's good to hear. Thank you so much. Liam, your plant is handsome. I just got a baby Monstera. Ah, nice. Well, this is actually a baby because this is from my main Monstera plant, which is downstairs, called Audrey. She's absolutely huge. I have this one as an offcut, and I've also got one in the bedroom as an offcut. She just keeps producing more and more babies. So yeah, you should see her. She's taller than me. I'm 6'4". She must be like 7 foot, 7.5 foot. Incredible plant. Love them. X-Film is epic. Looking forward to this one. Can't wait to see the set. All right, so let's get underway then. Let's dive over to the edit in the screen. Let's have a look at Lightroom here. So I've got these 6 images here. These are from 5 different photographers. You're going to see the photographer's name and their Instagram handle as we get into the editing up at the top left here, and the EXIF data, of course, so you can see what focal length they use and all that kind of good stuff. So as we go through, you're going to see those photographers, and if you want to kind of see more of their work, go and follow them on Instagram, give them some support. Thank you to those photographers. There's some incredible images I get to use in this stream, which is great. All right, so let's just walk through the set first of all and what's included in it. So like I said, this is Quest Tools 08. So you're going to find this at the bottom down here where the rest of the Quest tools are. So other tools that are released so far through Quest have been things like lens effects. We've got dust and scratches. We've got prism effects, snowfall, modern borders, filmic borders, and now these filmic light leaks. So like I said, there's 18 individual effects within this. And the first one that you're going to see up at the top is called ExF Vintage Tone. And Vintage Tone is designed to apply over the top of any other preset. So this set is a tool set that you can use with any preset of your choice. Any Archipelago set, any Quest set, you can apply this over the top. And what the Vintage Tone does is it shifts the tonality to give you that nice vintage filmic look. So you don't have to use a filmic preset like X-Film or 4x5 or one of the filmic Quest sets that we've done. You can use any preset at all. You can then apply the vintage film tone to get that nice vintage filmic look over the top of the image using the masking panel, and you can set the intensity. It's going to add grain, it's going to add a nice amount of muting to it, a little bit of warmth as well. So you'll see that as I get into the actual editing process. But if I just do it on this unedited image, so I'm going to just show you the presets first of all, and then I'll edit the image in a typical workflow. So if I just hover over this, you're going to see after a second or so, it's going to figure out where the subject in the background is, and it's going to apply the effect. So we get that really nice softening to the image. It mutes the shadows, it mutes the highlights, desaturates it a little bit, adds a little touch of warmth, and just gives it that really nice vintage look. So this is before, and this is after. So it's going to look relatively subtle on this because we haven't got an edit on the image yet, but you'll see how different that looks when I go ahead and edit the image properly. Below that, we've got the same effect, vintage tone, but you'll notice it says landscape, and that's basically designed for an image where there isn't a defined subject. And that essentially applies the effect to the entire image. The default one, the one that I'm hovering over right now, figures out where the subject is, figures out where the background is, and applies a slightly different effect to each, just so that the subject is still clear and not too kind of faded and all that kind of stuff. So it just kind of backs it off a little bit on the subject and applies more of it on the background, whereas the landscape one will just apply it across the entire image. And then we have the actual light leak. So let's kind of leaf through each of these. So ExF Light Leak 1, there's two versions of most of the light leaks, and that's just sort of a flipped version. So it could be that the effect is on the left and then it mirrors it to the right. It could be the effect is on the bottom and it mirrors it to the top. And then with Light Leak 8, there's actually 4 versions, and you'll see why when we get to that. But ExF Light Leak 1, give that a hover. So you can see we get this nice magenta light leak that runs down the right-hand side of the image. Just a nice bit of kind of flaring and that kind of softening and burst of light into the right side of the frame. And then with the second version, it's the same again, but it's sort of flipped and brought over to the left-hand side. And that's just for versatility. So obviously you can move these around, and when we get into the actual editing, you're going to see you can actually change the location of them, change the intensity, all that kind of good stuff. But just for simple ease of being able to place it wherever you like, you can kind of just give it one click and choose between the left and the right or the top and the bottom. All right, so ExF Light Leak 2. So you can see that's a little bit more subtle. It's a little bit more yellowy orange in tone. And it's kind of these 3 bands at the bottom left, and then we have a version that places it on the bottom right. Again, you can move these to the top if you wanted to, that kind of thing. ExF Light Leak 3. So this one is on the left-hand side. There's a little bit of kind of flaring coming in the bottom of the frame, and then these sort of like 2 bands across the center, and then we have a version that flips that to the other side as well. Light Leak 4, this one's quite subtle. It's just a little bit of a warm yellowish tone in a few different kind of areas of the frame. You can obviously increase the intensity of this if you want a more dramatic look, but it's a nice subtle one, and it pairs very, very nicely with some of the other light leaks. The idea of this set is actually that you can apply these one kind of component at a time. So it might be in an image you just want to use one of them, but it could be that you want to combine a few different ones, and the idea is that you build up the effect by using the different light leaks that you see here. So that's Light Leak 4.1, and then 4.2 again just flips it to the other side. Light Leak 5.1, this one's a nice blue band running down the right hand side, and again the second version runs down the left hand side. Light Leak 6.1 runs across the top of the frame, a little bit more of a warm tone. It's quite an intense burn almost across the top of the frame, and then we have a version across the bottom. Light Leak 7, one of my favorites. You can kind of see these just 2 separate elements at the bottom left of the frame or at the top right of the frame. And then we have ExF Light Leak 8, and that comes in 4 variants. So the first one applies across the bottom of the frame, and this one mimics the look of what they call the first of the roll. So oftentimes when you load film into a film camera, you actually expose a little bit of the first frame during that process, and it creates this type of effect where you have a band of light leak across the edge of the frame. The second version just mirrors that to the top, and then we have a version for the left and the right of the image. So lots of different elements. Like I said, the idea is that you can kind of combine them. I've kind of created this set in a way where you could just do one click on each of the ones that you like and have it kind of laid out. They're all slightly different colors, slightly different layouts and designs. But the real idea is that you play around with it, you get creative, you kind of move them around and you play around with how they appear. And that's what we'll do in this stream. So back to the unedited image. So let's go ahead and do like a typical workflow on this image here from Baptiste. So I'm going to bring the exposure up a little bit. I'm going to add some more warmth to this nice deserty scene. And let's use a filmic preset to get going. So I'm going to use Archipelago 4x5 film, one of my favorite sets. I'm going to go for 4x5 2. So give that a click. Just going to bring the exposure back down a tiny bit. Now we've got a bit of vignette, but I actually quite like that. It adds to that kind of filmic look. So I'm not going to correct the vignette. I'm going to leave that as it is. I'm just going to bring it down a little bit more. But one thing that I do want to do, we have got grain applied as default with this preset, and that's because it has that really nice filmic look. But I'm actually going to turn the grain off. So if I go into the effects panel, go to the grain slider and bring that to 0. And that's because the first effect that I'm going to use on this image is the X-Film Vintage Tone. And this is going to apply grain as part of the mask, as well as giving us that vintage tone. So I'm going to zoom back out and we'll go ahead and hover over vintage tone. So you can see we've got a very filmic look already, but this just adds that extra little bit of vintage tone into the image and the additional grain that we get there as well. So give that a click. Of course, we have the preset amount slider, so we can decrease or increase that to wherever we like. But I'm going to leave it at the default of 100 for this. And if I zoom back in, you can see there's a nice little bit of grain included there. So if I go before and after, that's with 4x5 film preset 2, and then the vintage tone preset applied over the top. So you can see in here, you've got two different masking panels, two different masking layers. The first one is for the background, the second one is for the subject, and that's how it applies the effect. All right, so let's get some light leaks on this. So for this one, we're going to go ahead and use Light Leak 2.1, which is the one we saw there with the nice orange kind of toning on the left-hand side. Quite like the placement of it as it is, so I'm going to leave that there. And let's do Light Leak 5.1, which is this one that runs up the right-hand side, slightly more blue toned, and runs up the right edge of the frame. For this one, I'm going to amend it a little bit. So I'm going to jump into the masking panel. I'm going to go to ExF Light Leak 5. And then I can grab any of the brush handles that you see here. One click, I can grab that and I can move it around the frame. So I can place it wherever I like. I'm going to have it just a bit further down, probably, maybe about here, and just closer to the edge. And the other thing I want to do with this is just change the color, which is really easy to do. So when you're on the mask itself, so in this case, I'm on the Light Leak 5, down here, you're going to see a color block. And currently it's blue because that's the color of this particular light leak. If I give that a click, I can now select any color that I like. I can just drag this across, find the color that I like, and then set the saturation level. So I'm going to go for a more warm one, maybe like a similar sort of orangey color, maybe a little bit more yellow, just so it kind of complements the light leak that's there already. I can set the saturation up or down. I'm going to go for that. And then of course we have the overall amount or intensity of that effect. So I can bring that down or I can add more of that. So lots and lots of control. I'm going to go slightly higher just for a little bit more of a burned look. I'm just going to bring it further down into the frame. Let's go, yeah, right about there. And that looks great to me. So here's before and here's after. And that's with 4x5 preset 2. We use the vintage tone preset from Quest Tools 08 ExF Light Leaks. And then we've used two different light leaks themselves, Light Leak 2 and Light Leak 5, making a slight adjustment to the placement and the color of Light Leak 5. So here's the side by side. Just have a quick look at the chat. These tones are so beautiful, perfectly nostalgic. This couple is so cool. Beautiful shot. Yes, I agree. It's absolutely gorgeous. This image works so well with these. Great that you can change the color. Elizabeth said, I'm in love. It looks so good. Thank you, Elizabeth. Lovely after I'm in love. That's from Nuna. Maria said, I'm sold. Love that. So yeah, as a reminder, this set comes out to our preset subscription, which is called Quest. We release a new set of presets every single month on the 1st of the month. And this will be February's set. So it comes out in a couple of days' time on the 1st of February. This will be February's set. So if you are a Quest subscriber, you get this set for free as part of your subscription. If you're not yet a subscriber, you can go to archipelagoquest.com, find out more about a subscription, get signed up now. And if you sign up before the end of the month, you can download this current month's set. And then on the 1st of February, you'll also get your hands on this set. So check that out, archipelagoquest.com. All right, let's move on to the next image. This one here by Hello Naught. You can see their Instagram handle at the top there. Really lovely image. We have this incredible looking fallen tree just framing around the subjects in this nice kind of deserty scene here. All right, so let's go ahead and get the temperature brought up. Get some warmth back in there. I think somewhere around about there looks good. Maybe a tiny little bit of magenta. Yep, that's looking good to me. All right, so let's decide on a preset. Let's go for quite a clean, modern preset for this. I'm gonna go for Amara. I'll go for Amara 4, which I absolutely love. It has this nice kind of warmth to the shadows, which looks super nice on this. So that's got a nice kind of clean look to the edit. Now there is grain applied as default with Amara 4. But it's just set to 20. It's a small amount of grain. I'm actually going to leave it, even though I'm going to use the vintage tone tool. That will just add a little bit more grain on top. So I'm going to go to vintage tone. Give that a second to figure out the scene. There we go. Look at that. So you can see we've gone from a very sort of modern, very clean edit to something more vintage and kind of soft. And you see how it blooms the highlights up here as well. So the light that's coming in around the edges of the tree there. You can see how that sort of blooms. We get that nice crushed shadows, crushed highlights, kind of a little bit of warmth and desaturated color tone there as well. So let's go ahead and apply that. Again, I'm going to leave it at the default amount of 100. I quite like where that is. It's looking good so far. And let's go and apply a light leak. So let's go for light leak 7, 2. Let's go into the masking panel, give that a click and grab the brush here. And again, just one click. If you click again, you're actually going to select a certain element, and you don't want to do that because that's going to move around one particular element of the effect rather than the whole thing. So you want to make sure that you're just selecting the mask layer and then click and drag immediately rather than clicking and then dragging a separate element. So if I go back onto here and then just click and drag, I can move the whole thing. So just make sure you're doing that. I'm going to bring this across to the left-hand side. Maybe let's go somewhere around about there. Just a little bit of flaring on the left. And then we'll go for one of the Light Leak 8 versions. Let's go for Light Leak 8.4, which is going to run down the right-hand side. Give that a second. So that's going to appear here. With this one, you can essentially just move it further into or out of the frame. So you can just, let me go and apply that again. Give that a second. Are you going to catch up? There we go. So Light Leak 8, and then I can move this further in or further out of the frame. So I'm going to probably leave it maybe about there, but we'll have a look in a minute. So I really like that. I like the kind of color that we've got in both these, kind of that warm light leak look. And I'm going to finish this off with another tool. So the set that we released prior to this, the tool set that we released prior to this was also a filmic set, and that was the filmic border set. So Quest Tools 07 filmic borders. And this is another tool set that works really well to get that nice filmic look. It kind of has these borders that feature dust and scratches and all the kind of things you would experience if you were to scan your film in with the borders included. So I'm going to use one of the borders from here. I'm going to use filmic 35-2. And this is going to replicate the look of 35mm film. Now we've got a vertical image, so I want to make sure I'm using the vertical version, not the horizontal. That's going to look much better. There we go. So give that a click. And now we can see we have the sprocket holes. We've got the kind of data on the edge of the film frame. And there's also a little bit of dust and scratches on the frame there as well. And that just really helps to sell the look, kind of give that really artistic look to it. So you can see all these layers have been applied to achieve that, but I can come back down and I can play around with the light leaks and make sure I'm happy with the placement of these. So let's just bring this up a little bit further, maybe about there. And I'm just going to bring that a little bit closer to the edge of the frame there. Great, and that's it. So here's before, here's after, there's your side by side. We'll go ahead and zoom in as well so you can see just that nice grain texture that comes in from the vintage tone. We of course have the regular grain applied as well. We could bring that down if we wanted to just give a little bit more of a clean look, but I quite like the heavy grain look on this. It looks quite nice. I put the film borders on almost all of the black and whites that I deliver. Love that, Elizabeth. Yeah, the film borders come in black and white and color versions, so do make sure you kind of use the black and white version if you're doing a black and white one, and that just gives that nice realistic look. But yeah, you can use these on vertical and horizontal images, and they replicate the look of 35mm film, 120 film, and even Super 8. Really good fun. They're available from the Quest Archive store, so if you are a Quest member, you can go and purchase that set if you didn't get it when it came out. So yeah, definitely worth a check. Amazing edit, love the film borders. Alexandra said, I'm always hesitant if it is too unconventional for wedding clients. So neat you use this, Elizabeth. Yeah, it definitely will depend on the clients and depend on your imagery and kind of what suits your images. But I do find that having, one or two images in a set can be really nice. It's just something a little bit more dramatic and different and can just offer something, quite fun for the clients as well. Love that you took time to make different borders for 35 versus 120. All right, so again, this is before, this is after. That one's edited with Amara 4. We've then used the vintage tone to give that nice vintage filmic aesthetic. And then we've used Light Leak 7 version 2 and Light Leak 8 version 4. And then we put a border on there from the Filmic Borders toolset, Filmic 35-2. And that's our final look. All right, so next image. This is another one here from Baptiste. Super nice. We've got this lovely field with the subject in the middle, basking in the sunlight. Lovely mountain range in the background there as well. All right, so let's go for an even cleaner edit on this. Let's use Alethea. I'm going to use Alethea Color Base. That's going to give us a really true to color edit with one click, so before and after. This set is available on archipelagopresets.com. It's one of our newer sets, and it's fantastic for people that want something very, very color accurate, but still has a really, really nice kind of polished feel to it. Comes with a whole bunch of creative profiles, and that gives you the ability to then give a more artistic look. So let's use one of those on this. We'll go for color profile 3, which has a little bit more of a moody look. So with the amount slider, you can set exactly how much of that look you want, but we'll just go for the default amount, I think, of 100. Actually, no, maybe a bit more. Let's go, yeah, about 150. So now we've kind of got that quite clean, but with a little bit more of a kind of lowered luminance in the green range, a little bit moodier. But let's take that further by getting the vintage tone added to this. So ExF vintage tone, give that a second to render the scene. And that looks super nice. So again, before, very, very clean edit, also very, very nice. But if you want that more vintage look, the vintage tone's just really, really delivering that. So again, this is it at 100. We could go for a little bit of an increase of this. Let's go quite high. Let's go for 150 on this and maybe just back the profile off a tiny bit. Yeah, I'm going to bring the profile down to about 120 and we'll have vintage tone up at 150. So again, before and after, that's with Alethea and then the vintage tone preset applied over the top. All right, so let's go for Light Leak 3 version 2. So we're going to get this nice kind of, it's slightly blue. It kind of looks white, but it's got a little bit of blue tone in there on the right hand side of the frame. But what I want to do with this is just shift that color. So again, I'm going to select ExF Light Leak 3. I'm going to position it where I want. So maybe around about, let's go about here. Dive into the color option and let's go for something a little bit more magenta. Yeah, I think around about there. Just going to bring the saturation down a little bit. We can set the overall intensity. So let's go, yeah, about there. All right, that's looking good. So that's Light Leak 3 version 2. Let's go for Light Leak 4 version 2 as well. That's going to give us those nice yellow kind of orbs of light on the left-hand side in this case. So let's have a look at the placement. Grab one of these handles I'm just going to move that across just so it kind of mirrors the other side in a way. Great, so that's looking good. And let's do one more light leak. Let's go for Light Leak 6 version 2. That's going to run across the bottom of the frame here. Again, I'm going to click and I'm just going to drag and move this down just so it's coming in the edge of the frame. I'm going to take the intensity of that down probably a little bit there, maybe around about there. Take the saturation down. And yeah, that looks good to me. I might change the color of the first one actually, just so it's a little bit more ready kind of color. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah, that looks good to me. So quite a dramatic look to this one. We've got kind of the flaring coming in from both sides along the bottom there as well. So let me close that out. Here's before and here's after. And there's the side-by-side comparison. So very, very kind of dramatic look to this one. Let's see what people are saying. So excited for vintage tone. Wow, this looks amazing. Thank you, Tal. Oh, amazing tones with the slider amount. That's from Lloyd, thank you. So excited about the vintage tone. Lots and lots of appreciation for vintage tone. It's definitely something that I've found since developing it. I've used it on a lot of my work. Even if it's just a subtle amount, it's just a really nice way to be able to kind of render the tones with that nice vintage filmic look, but use any preset that you want. So you could start with something like Wayfarer, which is quite contrasty and modern, but still get a little bit of a filmic edge by using this over the top. Use the amount slider to dial it exactly where you like. Did you decide on more magenta for the light leak to use complementary color to the overall green of the image? Yeah, that's definitely something that you can do if you want to kind of create something that's complementary or contrasting to the colors that are in there. I tend to go for slightly warmer tones in light leaks purely because that's often what you're going to find. I think the reason for that is if light goes through the front of the film, if it's color film, if it goes through the front of the film, it often takes on a warm tone, so reds, oranges, yellows. However, if light leaks through the back of the film, it's often cooler tones, so more greens, blues, and that kind of thing. So I kind of stuck around that area just to kind of mimic real light leaks that I've experienced in my own film photography. But of course, because this is digital, we've got the control. So yeah, if you want to approach it like that and kind of go for a little bit of color theory and go for complementary colors or contrasting colors, definitely a great approach. You can create some really beautiful images. But if I just want to go for that kind of warm look to the light leaks. I always overlook light leaks. I never remember to add them. I definitely need to. They just add something special. Yeah, they definitely do. I kind of describe it as adding a little bit of liveliness, a little bit of artistic kind of flair to an image. And obviously with film photography, it's generally unintentional. The light has leaked in through the camera. It's unintentional, or it could be that the film has been exposed once it's been removed from the camera. And it means that it's a surprise when you get your images back, but they can add something to it. And oftentimes the images that I get back that have experienced light leak, I've actually loved them even more than I would have done if they didn't, just because it adds something extra to the frame and kind of gives a little bit of a different feeling to the photos. So with this kind of ability to have that same look, but have the control to be able to place them where we want, set the intensity. You could even do stuff like removing, subtracting the subject from it, things like that, which obviously you wouldn't be able to do if it was film. It would just be wherever it's placed. And we've got that control because it's all done through the masking panel right here in Lightroom. It's incredible to have that level of control. All right, so next image, this one is by Gail. Super nice image here. We've got this couple in the car. Love the pose, love the energy. Going to bring the exposure up just a little bit and add a tiny touch of warmth. And then let's see what we're going to go for on this one. We're going to go for Halite on this. So I'm going to go for Halite 1. Another one of my favorite sets. Really, really nice tone in. Love that. So it's got a nice amount of magenta kind of running through there. I'm just going to bring the exposure up a tiny touch. And I'm going to go into the effects panel. I'm going to turn the grain off. There's quite a lot of grain with Halite, so I'm just going to bring that all the way down to 0, just because I'm going to use the vintage tone. So let's have a quick look. I'm going to maybe increase the profile. Let's go for a little bit more of a punchy look on the profile. So maybe about there, 160. And then let's apply the vintage tone. So ExF vintage tone. Really nice. Again, quite a big difference. If I go undo, that's just the highlight preset, highlight 1, and that's with vintage tone. So it really complements all the presets. Any preset that you use, it's going to work really well with it. That's before, that's after. Just desaturates it. It gives it that really nice muted feel to it, and obviously adds in this nice level of grain. I might boost it up a little bit. So let's go up to maybe about there, about 120. So again, before and after. Looking pretty good. All right, so let's get some light leaks on this one. So let's go for light leak 3.2. So this again is the same one we used on the last image. I'm going to move this around. Let's bring this up a little bit further. About there. And there is also, so when actually going to the masking panel, you're going to see all the elements that I used to create this. So you can actually see that down here we have a little sort of orb. I'm going to move that because I don't want that down here. I want it over on the left hand side. So now I'm just moving one element by clicking into the actual specific mask. I'm going to bring it across and just bring it to the left hand side, just so it kind of mirrors the right hand side. So I'm going to bring that down maybe about there, and then I can move the whole thing together until I'm happy with the placement. I'm going to go about there. Let's change the color again. So into here, I'm just going to maybe bring the saturation up a bit more of that blue. Yeah, I'm going to go somewhere around about there, and I'm bringing the intensity up as well, just so it has a little bit more of a dramatic look. Okay, so that's looking good so far. So that's light leak 3, and then light leak 8.1. This is going to give us that nice first of the roll flare across the bottom of the image here. And let's go ahead and use a border on this one again. So one of the filmic borders from Quest Tools 07 filmic borders. Let's use one of the 120 ones. So this mimics the look of 120 or medium format film. And there's two versions. There's filmic 120 and then filmic 120 no light leak. Now, some of these borders have light leaks built into them, but obviously we're using our own light leaks from Quest Tools 08. So I'm going to go for the version with no light leak. Give that a click. And there you can see we get this really nice realistic border around the edge. We have these sort of little triangles on the edge here that show like the film data, and just the shape really mimics that look. We've also got some dust and scratches in here as well. If I zoom in, you're going to see it's kind of little bits of dust across the image. Again, helps to sell that look of it being very, very filmic. So I would probably leave that there. Let's have a quick play around with the highlight profile. Yeah, I'm just going to increase it just a tiny bit more, about 188, just to kind of give a little bit more of a dramatic look. So this is before, and this is after. That's with highlight 1, vintage tone, and then we've used light leak 3 and light leak 8, and then we've also applied the filmic 120 without light leaks. Let's do one other thing actually. I want to show you something else. This is a little bit of a kind of a hack or a workaround when it comes to the light leaks or any other presets that kind of work like this. So I'm going to go into the crop mode, and I'm going to apply another light leak, but I want it to be smaller than it is as default. So actually I'm going to come back out of the crop mode. Let's go to ExF Light Leak 2, version 2, which is going to appear at the bottom right, but I want it to be much, much smaller than it is. So what I'm going to do before I apply it, I'm going to press the R key and go into crop mode. I'm going to bring the crop down quite small. Let's go about here. And now if I apply the preset, it's going to apply in the same location at the same size. But then when I uncrop or revert to the original crop, you can see it's now much smaller than it would be. So if I go ahead and hover back over that preset, that's how big it would be. And this is how to get a smaller version of it. So now I can go into the masking panel. I can place this exactly where I want. So I'm quite happy with the placement actually, just kind of flaring the bottom, but I'm going to go for something a little bit more intense. Let's go like that. So that's a really nice sort of little hack workaround to resize the light leak. If you zoom into the image with the crop, so crop it down to a section of the image, apply the light leak or whichever effect it is you want to apply, and then go back to the regular, reset it back to the regular crop, you're going to get a smaller version of that light leak. So very, very handy if that's something you want to try and achieve. So again, here's before, here's after. That's with highlight 1, vintage tone, light leak 3, light leak 8, light leak 2, where we cropped in to make it smaller, and then the filmic 120 border. More complementary colors. Love that peach and cyan light leak. Thank you. Is vintage over X-Film maybe for overkill or works? No, absolutely would work for sure. You're going to want to balance. Obviously, X-Film has the character profile, which adds that really nice sort of muted look. You're probably going to want to balance the profile and the vintage tone just to kind of find something that works for you. But absolutely, it definitely does work over the X-Film presets as well. So definitely give that a try. This is so perfect. Thank you, Lloyd. What a hack. Love that hack. Yeah, great. Thanks for the pro tip. Nice tip on the crop. I've never tried that. I just tried to make it resize, and it's always a bit tricky. It definitely is tricky. Yeah, there's not an easy way to do it, unfortunately, but that's something that I found is a nice workaround to achieve the same type of effect. All right, so where are we at? Let's go back out here. So we've done the first 4 images. You're going to see these ones render in a moment. We've got 2 more images to go. Just as a reminder for anyone that's joined late, this is the live stream for the upcoming Quest release, which is Quest Tools 08 ExF Light Leaks. This set comes out on the 1st of February to Quest subscribers. So get subscribed at archipelagoquest.com now. You'll be able to download this month's current set. And then on the 1st of February, you'll get your hands on Quest Tools 08. If you are tuning live and you haven't jumped in the chat to say hello, go ahead and do that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. That's going to allow you to then get into the chat to say hi. But if you are interacting in that chat, you're in with a chance of winning a pre-release copy of these presets. So you could get your hands on these before anyone else does, simply by just chatting away. And we'll choose someone from that list of chat people at the end of the stream. So definitely stick around, keep chatting away, and you could get your hands on this set early. Gail says, I can't wait to get my hands on them. All right, so image number 5. Let's jump into this one. This one's by Claudia. Lovely image here. Very, very simple. I love the kind of very clean, simple aesthetic to this. Really nice kind of arches on this building. And then, of course, the subject here. Nice complementary colors between the background and the subject and what they're wearing. So let's go for a redwood edit on this one. I'm quite happy with the white balance and the exposure, so let's go ahead and apply redwood 5. Very, very nice. Redwood is available from archipelagopresets.com. So let's increase the creative profile. Oh yeah, I really, really like the redwood profile. It adds that nice kind of warmth and a little bit more kind of contrast. I'm going to go quite high, maybe about 150. And I'm going to use another tool actually from Redwood, another one of my favorites, which is called Background Painterly. This essentially adds a painterly effect to the background of your image. A really nice way of softening down the background and just drawing focus to the subject. So this is it down at 0, this is up at 200. It's relatively subtle, but just adds a really nice amount of softness to the background of the image. I'm going to crank that up to 200. So again, the kind of workflow is really nice because you can just start with whatever tools you like to use, whatever presets you like to use first. Get that kind of look in the way that you want. And then from there, if you want to add that more vintage filmic look, you can go into this tool set and use the tools that we've got here. So let's go for vintage tone. And again, love that. This is before and after. Really, really nice transformation. Now we have got grain on as default, so I'm just going to bring that back down. So we're only seeing the grain from the vintage tone mask. And now I can decrease or increase that, set that wherever I want. So let's go down a little bit. I don't want it to be too high. I'm going to go about 77. So this is before and after. Very, very nice. I love the kind of muted brown tones that we're getting throughout the image with this. All right, so let's get some light leaks going. Light leak 6.1 is the first one I'm going to do. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to grab it and move it off the side and just have sort of this bit creeping in the edge of the frame. So maybe around about there. And let's have a look at the intensity. I'm just maybe going to bring it down a little bit for now. All right, that's looking good. Let's go for Light Leak 7.2. This one's going to apply up at the top here. I'm going to do the opposite with this. I'm going to move it across to the left-hand side. So I'm going to bring that down to maybe about there. And with this one, I'm going to change the color again. I'm going to go into the color and I'm going to make it a little bit more yellow. So let's have a look. I would probably go, yeah, somewhere around about there, but I do want it to be quite saturated. So let's set that there. Again, the amount, increase or decrease. I'm going to go for something, actually, I'm probably going to leave it at the default. Let's leave it at 100. All right, so let's go for, before and after. I'm going to go into another, let's do one more of the filmic borders. So keep that open. Let's go to filmic borders. I'm going to go for the 35mm filmic border 3 for vertical images. This one mimics the look of shooting over the sprocket holes, so the full width of the film. You achieve this if you shoot 35mm through a medium format camera. So there's a way to mount 35mm into a medium format camera and shoot the full width, and essentially it shoots over the sprocket holes and you get this kind of look where you get the sprocket holes punched through the image. So this kind of replicates that. Again, we have the dust and scratches included, and this one also has its own light leak. So if I come down here, you're going to see a light leak which just appears at the bottom here. It also has these smaller light leaks that are just around the sprocket holes, which is what you would typically see. But I'm going to move this light leak that's included, so I'm just going to go ahead and give that a click, and now I can grab one of these handles and move this. I'm going to bring this up to where the other light leak is, just to add a little bit of kind of yellowy warmth coming in the top. And now I'm going to go back to light leak 7, this one on the left hand side here. I'm going to reposition that just so it's kind of over this sprocket hole at the top, and I'm going to make it a little bit more of an orangey yellow. So yeah, I'm going to go maybe about there. Nice and saturated. And let's play around with another. Let's just bring the dehaze back up, which is going to give a more intense look to the color. So I think that, and then let's bring the amount down a little bit. Yep, that's looking good to me. Great, so that's with Redwood 5. We increased the creative profile to 150. Let's have a quick look and see if we want to increase it anymore. Yeah, maybe just a bit more, maybe up to about 190. So Redwood 5, profile up to 190. We've done painterly in the background, which is giving us a nice softness to the background of the image. We've then done vintage tone to give us that really nice filmic tonality over the top. And then light leak 6, light leak 7, and then we've also applied the filmic 35mm border 3 from Quest Tools 07, and we've just played around with the position of the light leaks. So this is before and this is after, and there's your side-by-side comparison. Elizabeth said, I took a break from Redwood for Serenus, but came back to it this month to make my winter images less blah. I love that. Yes, vintage tone rules. It changes everything. Thank you, Marius. Why do I get the feeling that all my photos from here on out are going to be getting vintage tone? I think it could be. It could be the case. I agree with KCAJ. Some night images would be cool to see. Yeah, that would be cool. So yeah, we'll kind of see some more examples. I'll see if I can find one in our collection of images to kind of share in the group in the next couple of days if we've got something. I bought many presets from so many places and never found any that I love or that look good. I found these presets a few days ago and I'm obsessed with Redwood and Treve. Can't wait to get more. That's so awesome, Sophie. Welcome to the Archipelago squad. You're going to love all of the presets that we've already got out and available, but you're also going to love what we've got to come. We actually had a meeting yesterday, I believe it was, and we've got so many great ideas of things that we want to deliver to bring to Archipelago presets and to bring to our Quest subscription. So definitely stick around. Make sure you subscribe to our newsletters as well. Our newsletter is the first place that we're going to announce anything new that's happening, but we've got lots of exciting things up our sleeves. So definitely stick around and stay excited. Bryn said, my whole Lightroom catalog at this point is Archipelago, minus a few of my own, but still love that. Lauren said, don't forget to tag us on Instagram. Yeah, definitely use your tags on Instagram. We always like to feature images from photographers that use our presets. So if you do tag us, you are in with a chance of being featured. We also want to get more reels going as well. So if you are going to use, if you're going to create a reel and you've got images in that have been edited with Archipelago, tag us in that, invite us as a contributor. And then if we like it, we'll actually add that to our profile. So you'll get to kind of be exposed to our 99,000 plus subscribers. So definitely go ahead and do that. Get us followed on Instagram. I could see this on a mag. Just do a blue hour night photo live. Yeah, I don't have one to hand though, Bryn. Will do, Lauren. Yeah, I love that. All right, cool. Request a painterly tool. Nice. All right, cool. So let's roll on to the last image. Once I've edited this image, we will go ahead and announce a winner for the pre-release copy of this set, Quest Tools 08 ExF Light Leaks. Again, this is coming out on the 1st of February to our Archipelago Quest subscription. You can find out more at archipelagoquest.com. All right, so this is the last image, this one by Kea. This one's bordering blue hour, I would say. So we'll give this a go, see what you think. So let's get the exposure brought up a decent amount on this. I'm gonna add a little bit more warmth to this, maybe around about there. And let's go for another quite clean kind of preset. Let's go for a Wayfarer edit, Wayfarer 2. Kind of has this nice punchy, cool look. We've got the defined profile set to 0, and I'm going to increase that just to kind of give us a little bit more definition. Let's go for about 60 and then bring the exposure up just so we can kind of see the detail in the subject. And let's go, yeah, so this is it at 0 and this is it up at 60. So it's just going to add a nice amount of kind of extra definition to the image. So that's looking good so far. All right, vintage tone, let's get that one slapped on here. Looking good, very, very nice. Let's have a play around with the temperature. I'm going to go a tiny bit warmer. And let's set the vintage tone a bit higher as well. I'm going to push it up to about 140. So then before and after. So that's looking pretty good. But what I want to do now is I want to, well, let's do the light leaks first, and then we'll play around with a couple of other things. All right, so let's do light leak 8.1, which is going to run across the bottom of the frame. And let's use the technique that I showed you before in terms of like cropping an image in. So let's crop this one right down. Probably let's go about there. And let's go for light leak 3.1. Actually, no, light leak 3.2. Yeah, light leak 3.2. I'm going to then press the R key and reset. That's going to bring me back to the normal crop. And now I'm going to go into the light leak, grab one of these handles. I'm going to position this further down in the frame. So that's just made the light leak much smaller than it would be, just so it's not coming into the frame quite as much. I'm going to position it there. Let's change the color. Let's go for something a little bit more, yeah, like yellowy orange, maybe about there. Let's have the saturation not too high. I would go about there, 74, and then let's take a look at the overall amount. Yeah, I'm going to probably keep it at the default amount of 100. All right, that's looking good so far. What I want to do, if I look at the original and then the edit so far, we're obviously losing a lot of that sky. So let's fix that. We're going to use another tool set. We're going to use the AI tool set from Archipelago. This is a free tool set that's available to our newsletter subscribers. So the newsletter that I mentioned before, if you get subscribed to the newsletter, if you're new to the subscription, you'll actually get the preset sent to you. So this collection of presets, this AI toolset, features a bunch of different presets that affect things like the subject, the sky. It has really, really cool tools like Silver Reflector, which I use all the time. And it's totally free. You just subscribe to the newsletter, you get to download this, and then you stay informed on all the great things that are happening at Archipelago along the way. You're going to see the link in the chat there. Thank you, Lauren. So let's use a couple of the sky tools just to kind of fix the sky. I'm going to use Sky Saver. This one's going to bring the exposure of the sky back down. I'm going to crank that all the way up to 200. And then let's use Sky Blue, which is going to add a nice blue tone to the sky. I'm going to crank that up to 200 as well. So now we've got that nice kind of contrast where we have the blue sky and then the warm tones in the kind of a little bit of a hill or a mountain, and then the subject down here. Just going to get the exposure looking where I want it to be, so probably about there. I'm happy with the profile at 70, so before and after. That's looking good. All right, let's do one more thing. I'm actually going to crop it back down a little bit. I'm going to go for a little bit of a tighter crop, maybe around about there. And let's use one other tool set. I'm going to use the Modern Borders toolset. So this one's Quest Tools 06, available from the Quest archive, and this one features modern borders. Again, they come in vertical and horizontal versions, and there's 7 different borders. I'm going to use Modern Border 1 for vertical images, and I'm going to give that one click, and that's going to apply this really nice arch to the image there. Very, very clean, very, very simple, but quite a nice look. So that's looking pretty good. I could actually afford to go a little bit. I'm going to go down a little bit. And let's position it maybe about there. And then all I have to do is just reapply the border. So if I go back to Modern Borders 1, and that's going to position it how we want. So there we go. This is before and after. So that's with Wayfarer 2. We increased the define profile to 70. We've used vintage tone, set that to about 150, something around there. We cropped the image in to allow us to apply a smaller version of Light Leak 3. We also applied Light Leak 8. And then we've kind of played around with the color of those as well. And then we've used a couple of tools from the AI tool set. We've used Sky Saver and Sky Blue just to kind of rescue the color and the exposure in the sky. And then the last thing we've done is applied a modern border from the modern borders tool set just to give us that final image. So this is before and this is after, and there's the side-by-side comparison. Great, I can't with this edit. Love that, Una, thank you. The sky tool is amazing. That's from Lenka. Gail says this edit is looking incredible. Marius, I highly recommend the O2 toolset. I love hazy light. Yeah, O2 toolset is free. So that's the Essentials toolset. That's free to Quest subscribers. You're going to find that in the archive, and you can just download that for free. The arch goes so well on this image. Love the triangle shapes that happen with the model's body in this photo. One overall, one with her elbow, one in her underarm. I like the light leaks and arch make the image even more about graphic shape. Yeah, I love that. That's such a cool observation from Elizabeth there. Pure fire, that's from Gary. Love that. I purchased Archipelago, Amara, Asteria, Xfilm, LXCR, Nomad, and Wayfarer and Ore. That is a great list of presets. I hope you're a Quest member and you used your exclusive Quest discount to get a discount on those Archipelago presets. If you are a Quest member, you get 30% off archipelagopresets.com. So it's a nice perk of being a Quest member. So film-like. This is how I use multiple Quest sets in the same image. Modern border is fire. Thank you, Lenka. Sarah said I'll be purchasing those borders. That's great to hear. You're going to find that in the archive store as well. All right, so let's go back and let's take a look at all of these images side by side with their nice filmic edits. So again, this is Quest Tools 08 ExF Light Leaks. ExF is a nod to Xfilm. This set sits as part of the Xfilm family. And it has that kind of same filmic, nostalgic look that Xfilm delivers, but with the addition of all of these light leak tools to apply to your images. And this one, as I said, is coming out on the 1st of February. So a couple of days, not tomorrow, but the day after is when this set goes live. So not too long to wait, which is very, very exciting. But in a moment, we'll be announcing a pre-release copy winner. You're going to get your hands on this set immediately, so you can start editing with it straight away. So we'll announce that in the chat in just a moment. And if you are someone that does win a pre-release copy, we'd love for you to jump into our Facebook group and share some edits early, get people excited about what's coming to Quest. We'd love to see what you create with the set as well. So definitely, if you are a winner, go ahead and do that. And there we go. Lauren's announced the winners for the pre-release copy. We've got Josiane, Alexandra, and Una. You're all winning pre-release copies. If you reach out to the support email that you can see in the chat there, we'll get that sent over to you straight away, and you can start editing with these before anyone else. But for the rest of you, don't worry, it's only a couple of days away now. You're going to get your hands on this set if you are part of our Quest subscription. So very, very excited for everyone to get their hands on this and start kind of doing all those amazing edits with the light leaks. I'm looking forward to seeing all of your beautiful photos in the Facebook group and of course on Instagram when you tag us on the Instagram there as well. Big congratulations. But yeah, thank you to everyone for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to host these. It's great to kind of connect with you through these live streams. We do these at least a couple of times a month. We do a live edit where we edit images from the community. We also do these ones where we showcase the upcoming sets. And we also have other things along the way like 60-second edits and all that great stuff. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel to see more of our content. Give the video a like if you've enjoyed this live stream. It's always appreciative to get likes on the videos just to kind of see what you enjoy about our different videos. So give it a like, make sure you subscribe, and then come back and join us for another live stream very, very soon. Thank you.